Hi, this is Felice Sloan with Swanky Maven.
I'm David Leftwich, editor of Edible Houston and associate editor at Houston Food Finder.
I'm Eric Sandler, editor for Culture Map.
Well, it is getting hot and humid in Houston. Well,
It's getting hot in here.
No, it's hot out there. It's cool in here.
It's cool in here. It's getting hot out there. So keep on all your clothes. Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is NPR. You can't get too risque.
Okay,
All
but
right.
we can do ice cream.
Yes, we can talk
We
about
can
ice
talk
cream.
about ice cream.
And all those things. Okay.
So yeah, it's time for ice cream, other frozen treats, things to keep you cool for at least a couple of minutes.
For a couple of minutes.
Yeah, before
That's
your
it.
glasses fog back up.
And not surprisingly, right, we're a city with a lot of ice cream, a lot of frozen dessert options, a lot of ways to stay cool. Because, I mean, really, it's almost like a year-round thing.
It is.
It's very rare that it's too cold for a frozen dessert in Houston.
Right.
That's true.
The one that first comes to mind, because it's been so trendy for the last few years, is Underground Creamery. And this is Josh DeLeon's business that he started literally in his apartment. It's gone legit. It's now in the Heights. And for the first couple of years, he would do these weekly drops where it would sell out in under a minute. But now he's making like 700-800 pints a week. So as long as you're on the website when the drop happens, like if you follow them on Instagram and you're sort of cognizant, you can get this. And then the other thing is they're producing more flavors throughout the week. So you can go to Pudgy's Cookies and buy it retail, just walk up. And so, yes, it's still limited and small production and handmade and all of the things that I've always liked about Underground Creamery, but it's a little more accessible now. And so I feel more comfortable recommending it to people because it's not this like unicorn food that you have to be like a totally obsessed food
Correct.
hipster to buy.
Yeah. The question is, has he repeated a flavor?
He brings things back occasionally, but no, for the most part, that's what's so exciting is that he's really big. His coffee ice creams are my personal favorite because he'll take really good quality, locally roasted beans from like Greenway or Tenfold and infuse that into the ice cream. And coffee ice cream is my personal favorite flavor. So I always, if I see roast of the week, it almost doesn't matter, but he'll do like a caramel with it or like a cake or something. And those are my absolute favorite, but there's so many more ice cream makers to talk about. So David, why don't you keep it going?
Well, I'm going to talk about one of my other favorites is Honey Child Sweet Cream, who is technically doing frozen custard.
I was going to say, is that ice cream or is that a custard?
Technically, it's frozen custard because it includes egg yolk, but Kathleen sources a lot of local ingredients. She has some base flavors, like she has a very good like black chocolate, a buttermilk pie, like a Texas sheet cake, but then she also has seasonal flavors, like she had a really good dewberry one a couple of weeks ago. And it's over in the MKT development off of Shepherd. Local ingredients, seasonal flavors, and just really good. Like that egg yolk just adds a certain richness and creaminess to the mix.
When we talk about lots of flavors, Amy's is one of my favorites. They're out of Austin. We have two Amy's. We have the Heights and the Shepherd location. I always go to the Shepherd location. One thing that got me on Amy's back in the day was the Mexican vanilla. Like, that's always my favorite. However, what keeps me there is that they have 350 flavors on rotation at any given time. So,
And then the other thing is it's like I like going to a place like Jenny's or Milk and Sugar, but they are only scoop shops, right?
Right.
At Amy's and Fat Cat Creamery and, not to jump too far ahead, but they are like real ice cream shops. Like you can get a sundae, you can get a milkshake, you can get a banana split. They have all the toppings and the add-ons and the mix-ins and all that stuff. So, yeah, like I've been going to Amy's for literally 30 years, right?
Yeah.
However long that Houston location has been around. I'll get that mint chocolate chip. I get their milk chocolate. I get their dark chocolate. I mean, there's so many great flavors.
Yeah, it's so good.
Well, since you already mentioned them, we might as well go ahead and talk about Fat Cat Creamery, which is Sarah Johnston's place up in the stomping grounds in the Goof off of 34th. And again, she's using lots of local ingredients, the Milk King milk, local eggs, but she's again has some really standard flavors like a really good milk chocolate stout that uses stout beer. She's doing a one with a Maya coffee and cream. She occasionally has a bourbon pecan because she also mixes in some seasonal flavors. And again, she's doing sundaes and milkshakes and floats. And there are some other places you can go visit while you're in the stomping grounds. So.
Yeah, I mean, you can make a whole night of it because there's like 4 or 5 restaurants. There's now a cocktail bar, so you can have dinner and dessert and a drink.
I think she even makes boozy milkshakes too.
She makes the dude, right, a White Russian milkshake after the Big Lebowski.
Oh, one thing that I was gonna jump on, Eric had mentioned it, Milk and Sugar. Now, Milk and Sugar is not traditional, right? We can't throw it out there. It is like a scoop shop, but they're not giving you no boring ice cream. And not to say the other ones are boring, but it's very non-traditional ice cream.
You don't get to choose the mix-ins. They have already made the ice cream with the mix-ins. So my favorite is City That Never Sleeps, which is coffee and pretzel ice cream with chocolate chips in it. They also do a peanut butter cookies and cream that's like really, if you're a chocolate and peanut butter person, like if you like Reese's Cups and that kind of thing, that's your ice cream.
Okay, what has me in the chokehold right now, and I'm too embarrassed to post because they have a location that they've opened off Buffalo Speedway in 59, and it's the cereal milk ice cream with the toasted frosted flakes. Just if you don't want to get addicted, get the flavors Eric mentioned. That's all I'm saying.
Well, and since you mentioned cereal milk ice cream, Flour and Cream is another kind of Asian-owned, kind of modern ice cream shop. They do cereal milk with Oreos in it, which is like the best, creamiest cookies and cream you've ever had. And I mean, I don't always eat a lot of fruit-based ice creams, but their honey roasted strawberry is one of my favorites. And they now have 3 locations. They have one on Holcomb, kind of West U. They're in the Post, and then they just opened up in Autry Park, kind of on that River Oaks Montrose area.
So we've been talking about ice cream and scoops, and there's a couple of really good gelato places that the Italian take on ice cream, and one of my favorites is Dulce Neve Gelato on North Main, and they're doing, again, he's got some base flavors. There's the crema dulce neve, which is a custard with lemon zest, and they do a really good chocolate. But they also do some really good rotating flavors and seasonal flavors. Again, another, I guess, bourbon and pecan is a good combo because they do a bourbon pecan gelato.
It's the best pistachio ice cream I've ever had. Yeah. Period.
Best ever, Eric?
The best pistachio I've ever had.
Okay, so you've heard it first here, okay?
And the reason is because they use organic pistachios, and they just use like way more than it. It's so many. It's got such a high concentration of nuts in it that it's unbelievably pistachio-y. That's science. That's science.
That's science.
So we're talking gelato. I'm gonna go traditional, old school. That's been here for a while. One of my favorites. I know it's y'all's favorite. One of y'all's favorites. Sweet Cup, Montrose. For folks that can't get to Sweet Cup, you can get Sweet Cup at Central Market, all the Whole Foods here. I don't think the stores have more the basic flavors. You can't get like the signature flavor. So you got to go into the original location and get some of the fun flavors.
Yes, because I think she has like kind of a base of over 300 flavors that she rotates throughout the year.
Yeah.
She has she uses some Indian flavors. She uses she has some really unique flavor combinations. And so you never know exactly what you're going to get when you go into the shop.
Yeah, I mean, we mentioned Amy's. It's an Austin import. The other one that's kind of new in the market is Lick Honest Ice Creams. They're in kind of the Westview, Southside Place area, and then they opened in Autry Park. Flour and Cream is actually in Regent Square, which is next to Autry Park. All these mixed-use developments get a little bit confusing, but Texas ingredients, Texas milk, seasonal flavors, it's kind of a strange name a little bit, but the ice cream's good.
Yeah, so we've been talking about ice cream, but we can't really talk about it without something like ice-based snow cone, shaved ice, and one of my favorites is Tampico Refresqueria, which is on North Main. And again, it's the raspa, so it's the Mexican style kind of snow cone, shaved ice, lots of fruity flavors. There's always, in the evenings, it's always kind of almost a party vibe. There's always a nice, long, fun line out there. You know, it's always fun and great, refreshing flavors. Some really good mango-based flavors.
I like that we have a Rita's Italian Ice and Custards. We're actually going to there's going to be one opening in Katy, but there's a Rita's. When you talk Italian ice, there's a million flavors. They got a Kool-Aid flavor, a couple margarita flavors, strawberry, regular margarita, lemonade flavor, and then you can do pickup, delivery. You can go into the shop, but Rita's, not to be confused with Ritter's Custard in Katy, that is always popping, always has lines galore coming around this time. That is always amazing. It's worth the drive. It's the only one in Texas, I think, still.
All right, for my shaved ice recommendation, I'm going to go a little bit off the board because kakigori, Japanese shaved ice, is the signature dessert at Katame, which is the new restaurant from the Katarabata folks. They also have it at Katarabata. They import the ice from Japan. It's a level of obsession that I just absolutely love. And you can get strawberry Nutella. They have all these different flavors. It is cool and sweet and refreshing, and the texture is fluffy. It's so delicious. It's such a great way to end a meal.
I was wondering who was going to go there because I've got that on my list.
Well, we couldn't be this close to New Orleans without talking about snowballs. Snowballs, people are like, well, what's the difference? Snowballs are that very, very snow, like that fine, like that snow ice. And you have the sweet syrup. You can also do the creams. Some people do the fixins. But I'm going to have a couple that I'm going to name. There's Snow Dreams. In the city, they do an amazing job. They have the brick and mortar. They're off Scott. Oasis Snowballs. It's very good. They're off West Little York. And then in the burbs, outside the loop, I'm going to give you Island Snowball. So those are 3 really good snowball places to check out.
So last one from me, again, a little bit off the radar, but Fluff Bake Bar quietly makes 4 or 5 flavors of ice cream at any given time. And I know people know them for their cookies and their cakes. But Becky Masson, the pastry chef, takes a lot of pride in her ice cream. And she uses sometimes she'll riff on her cookie flavors. Sometimes she'll do just kind of familiar, chocolate, vanilla, whatever. But every time I go to Fluff, it's always you can make a cookie sandwich. You can buy 2 cookies and a scoop of ice cream and eat it all together. And that's a good way to cool off. That's one of my favorites.
So I'll go a little bit, kind of an interesting one that's it's available at the farmers market, Urban Harvest Farmers Market, and it's All We Need Farms, and they're doing these goat milk pops. I think they're also available in a few retail locations as well. But yeah, really refreshing, just kind of unique with that goat milk. They have a chocolate one, they have a few other flavors. And, especially when you're at the farmers market in the summertime and it's hot, it's super refreshing.
I'm going to do another take on a non-traditional but traditional kind of ice cream on a cone, Bubble Egg, out in Katy, where you have the Bubble Egg waffle cone. You can do a sweet or savory, and you do the mix-ins. It's very fun. Try it out. I think you'll really like it. Hi, this is Felice Sloan with Swanky Maven.
I'm David Leftwich, editor of Edible Houston and associate editor at Houston Food Finder.
I'm Eric Sandler, editor for Culture Map, and you're listening to Houston Matters with Craig Cohen.